in the land of fire and ice, where legends were born, and untamed beauty meets timeless tradition. Among dramatic landscapes shaped by nature's extremes dwells a horse like no other. Join us as we journey through Iceland's hills and valleys to learn more about the Icelandic, a horse forged by the Vikings. The Icelandic horse found its beginnings around 1,000 years ago, around 900 AD, when Viking settlers took up residence on the small island. Immigrants soon followed them from Norse colonies in Ireland and the Western Isles of Scotland. These immigrants brought along with them horses who would become the ancestors of what would become the Connemara, Shetland pony, and Highland elsewhere. Many attempts were made to incorporate Eastern blood into the Icelandic horse, which caused an increased decline in the stock. As a result, in 982 AD, the Icelandic Althing passed laws to stop the importation of horses into the island, bringing an end to crossbreeding. Since then, the Icelandic horse breed has remained so for over 1,000 years. Horses played a key role in Norse myth and Scandinavian beliefs. The early Germanic people, especially those living in Scandinavia, venerated horses and killed them to eat at blots, which are religious ceremonies in Germanic paganism, where animals were killed and offered to a particular being. This was then followed by communal cooking and eating. Also, in Nordic myth, horses played a key role in helping gods travel across the sky and between realms. One such horse was an 8-legged mare named Sleipnir, who belonged to Odin. The first ever Icelandic horse known by name was an Icelandic mare named Skalm, who appeared in the Book of Settlements in the 12th century. It tells of how a chieftain, Seal Thorir, founded a settlement at the place where his mare laid down to rest with her herd. Horses were also significant in the Icelandic sagas Hrafnkel's saga, Njal's saga, and Grettir's saga. Even though these documents were written in the 13th century, they are set back to the 9th century. This literature has greatly influenced many herds and riding schools in Iceland today, which still bear the names of equines from Norse mythology. In medieval Icelandic times, horses were considered the most prized possessions. War horses were often buried alongside their dead masters, and stories of their deeds were told. Stallion fights were also arranged by Icelanders for entertainment purposes and to pick the best stock for breeding. These events were described in official records as well as literature in the Commonwealth period, from 930 to 1262 AD. Stallion fights brought in many spectators, and it wasn't uncommon for verbal and non-verbal conflicts to arise. Some of these conflicts allowed people to improve their political as well as social standing, and sometimes consequently led to the readjustment of alliances. Despite the sometimes hostile feuds, the stallion fights were a way for friends and rivals to battle without the risk of major consequences, and even were the grounds for men and women to court. The Icelandic's development in history hasn't always been easy. Natural selection played a major role, as many horses died due to the island's harsh climate. Between 874 and 1300 AD, during the medieval warm period, breeders bred horses selectively according to special rules of colour and conformation. Soon, selective breeding became a lesser issue between 1300 and 1900, as the climate became harsh and caused the death of many horses and people. Icelandic horses then suffered another great loss in the time between 1783 and 1784, where after the eruption of Lakagiga, nearly 70% of the island's horses were killed because of ash poisoning and starvation. But Icelandic horses are a hardy breed, and soon the population began to right itself, and soon selective breeding became once again an important issue in the 20th century. Icelandic breed societies began to be established in 1904, and the first breed registry was created in 1923. Because of their small size and strength, Icelandic horses were exported to Great Britain before the 20th century to work as pit ponies in the coal mines. But because these horses were never registered, there is very little evidence of their existence. However, the first formal exports of Icelandic horses were in 1940 to Germany. Soon, the first official imports of the Icelandic top Great Britain were in 1956, when Stuart McIntosh, a Scottish farmer, began a breeding programme. Other breeders began to follow his example, and hence the Icelandic Horse Society of Great Britain was established in 1986. The increase of exported Icelandic horses has steadily increased, and many societies since 1969 have worked hard to preserve these horses under the guidance of the International Federation of Icelandic Horse Associations, or FEIF. This federation was started on May 15, 1969, with Iceland, Denmark, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and the Netherlands as its original members. In 1997, Norway and France joined, and then Belgium and Sweden in 1975. Later, 12 more countries joined, including the United States, Great Britain, Canada, Finland, Italy, Hungary, Faroe Islands, Luxembourg, Australia, Ireland, Slovenia, and Liechtenstein. However, due to a lack of members, the association in Ireland eventually closed, and New Zealand was eventually given the status of associate member as a result of its small base. In 2000, World Fenga, the official register of Icelandic horses, was established and was a web database program used as a stud book to track the bloodlines and pedigrees of Icelandic horses. Since its creation, approximately 300,000 living and dead Icelandic horses have been registered worldwide. Icelandic horses are small in stature, ranging in height from 13 to 14 hands, with thick muscular necks and strong legs. They come in a variety of colours, from striking piebald to fiery chestnut, and even a majestic palomino. There are over 100 names for coat colours in the Icelandic language. Icelandics are also known for their thick, luscious manes and tails, and their thick, furry coats in the winter. They have very friendly, outgoing personalities, and while spirited, they are very gentle and are hardly known to spook. They make great family horses and wonderful riding horses. They have been known to excel in many different riding disciplines, such as dressage, endurance riding, and even jumping. But what Icelandic horses are most known for are their gaits. Icelandic horses are 5-gaited horses, meaning they can perform the natural walk, trot, and canter gallop, as well as their special breed-specific gaits, tolt, and flying pace. While most might consider the canter and gallop to be separate gaits, Icelandic registries consider them to be the same. The tolt is a lateral 4-beat sure-footed gait. It is comfortable and ground-covering. The tolt includes the same footfall patterns as a normal walk and can be performed at various speeds. The tolt is a natural gait, and while all Icelandic horses can perform it naturally, proper training can enhance the gait. But 2 variations of the tolt are both incorrect and uncomfortable. The first is a pig's pace or piggy pace, and is more of a 2-beat pace than a 4-beat gait. And the second is mostly seen in young, inexperienced horses called the valhop, a combination of a canter and a tolt. The 5th gait of the Icelandic horse is the flying pace or skade, flugskade. This gait is extremely swift and smooth, and is mostly performed in pacing races. Horses moving at the flying pace can reach speeds of 30 miles per hour. This is a 2-beat gait, where each side's legs move in sync and land at nearly the same time. Unlike the tolt, all Icelandic horses cannot perform it, and horses who can perform both are highly valued. The flying pace is not a good long-distance gait, and is best performed by well-trained horses under experienced riders. Because of their unique gait and attributes, the Icelandic horse has gained admirers from around the globe. There are associations for the breed in 22 countries, all presiding under the careful eye of their parent organisation, the International Federation of Icelandic Horse Associations. The breed is represented in many equine shows and exhibits, and models have even been made after them. All across Iceland, people from around the world can travel there to get a chance to meet and ride these magnificent horses and learn more about them and the wonderful island where they reside. The Icelandic horse continues to serve as a symbol of legend, grace, and ultimately willpower. This breed will undoubtedly continue to forge its place on Earth, leaving in its wake both fire and ice. Thank you for watching this Explore Horses production. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to learn more about the fantastic world of horses. Until then, farewell.